Hello everyone, this is Yusef with another video game plot summary where I tell you the plot of a game and then I play the ending. This episode's game is Voodoo Vince. In an old part of New Orleans, there is a voodoo shop run by a voodoo lady named Madame Charmaine. A dude named Cosmo the Inscrutable sent some very big dudes to tiptoe into Madame Charmaine's shop and get a hold of some zombie dust that she kept there. Once they opened the case though, the zombie dust activated and started reacting with everything in the room. Madame Charmaine came downstairs to see what all the poltergeist was about and sees Cosmo's minions have activated the dust. But before she can give a good old lady morality speech, she gets mollywopped by a floating chair. Having been seen by Madame Charmaine, the minions decide to take her along with the zombie dust and drive away in their moving truck. Once the zombie dust was released out of the case though, it began to warp reality, including Madame Charmaine's third favorite voodoo doll, Vince. Madame Charmaine finds that she has a psychic link with Voodoo Vince, so she informs him that he needs to come and save her and gather the zombie dust, which there are no zombies in this game. Maybe a few skeletons that have been reanimated, but apparently the power of the zombie dust has nothing to do with zombies at all. Anyway, Madame Charmaine explains to Voodoo Vince that because he's a voodoo doll, he inflicts pain on other people and animated things when he hurts himself. So Vince sets off on his journey and barely gets off the porch before Cosmo the Inscrutable appears as a floating talking head. Cosmo does some weird ghoulish smack talking, but Vince is not impressed and tests out his voodoo powers on Cosmo. They work. From there, Vince goes through the street of the quarter, outwitting an angry gasoline pump to get gas to power a steamroller, don't ask, and playing a tune with a dead musician to get into a museum with a T-Rex that is blocking an entrance to an underground lab with a scientific turtle. The scientific turtle, Dr. Ethel, is making this diabolic machine that only the most advanced scientists can comprehend. Vince takes one look at the schematics and figures that it's a hot air balloon. He needs to help her make the hot air balloon so that she will give him the information on the whereabouts of Madame Charmaine. So Vince goes through the civilized roach village to get everything and brings it all back to the doctor. Then Dr. Ethel builds the balloon and both her and Vince are off to new places away from cockroaches. Well, that's what it looked like for a second anyway. Once Vince notices that the balloon has too much weight, Dr. Ethel chucks him out of the balloon so she can get away by herself. So Vince uses the remaining helium to inflate his head and float on out of there by himself. Vince eventually ends up at the gate of a cemetery. At first, Vince did not want to go in there, but Madame Charmaine says that the zombie dust is too out of control in the cemetery, which makes a lot of sense. So Vince has to depart from his normal wacky quest to do a side mission. Jazz Skeleton is standing at the gate telling Vince they need to play another tune for the gate to open. But Vince takes a bone off of Jazz Skeleton's skeleton and plays taps on the gate, which opens it up. After battling moles and imps, no zombies, and riding a rat to defeat a huge possessed statue, Vince finds himself in the Manor House. Again, the house has been doused with zombie dust. I guess we can forget about our main quest for now, huh? Anyway, Vince goes into the enchanted home, clicks on some switches, and ends up talking to a doll named Dolly, of course. Dolly knows who Madame Charmaine is and that the thugs took her to the Carnival de Prave. She also says she will happily show Vince how to get there. But first, she has monsters upstairs and she wants Vince to take care of them. Turns out it was more imps. Exterminator Vince comes back to Dolly successful and she rewards him with a train ride to the carnival. Finally, we're on our way in style. Well, not so much, because when Vince gets to the train station, it's so small he can't even fit through the door. It's a train set. While Vince is complaining, Cosmo's floating head appears and pulls Dolly's ripcord, turning her into some crazy nightmarish mech doll that shoots explosive poodle missiles. After Vince disposes of Robo Dolly by having trains smash into him, he takes the exit and ends up in the bayou at Crawdad Jimmy's. Of course, Crawdad Jimmy is making that gumbo and need them ingredients that you can find in the swamp. I hope you guys like my accent there. Let me tell you, this gumbo is going to be disgusting. Everything in the area is affected by the zombie dust. The onions have legs, the crawfish look like a man in a suit, and the sausage was made of raccoon, beaver, and rat. Well, so the sausage was normal. Vince brings all that to Jimmy and finds out that it was all a plan to give Cosmo some time to create Hurricane Hannah, which is really a tornado. Vince untwists Hannah and heads to the Carnival de Prave. Vince is in luck. Voodoo dolls get in free. Anyway, Vince beats all the crazy carnival games and Evel Knievel's his way into the main tent. Once inside, Voodoo Vince finally lays eyes on the real Cosmo. Unfortunately, he's in a really big robot named Cosmobot. Vince is ready to blow town, but Madame Charmaine gives him a pep talk and he's all set to fight. Vince gets in through the feet, climbs up the body, and inexplicably finds an airplane to crash into Cosmobot's face. Then uses the opportunity to get into Cosmobot's head, walk right up to its brain, and blast it with some good old-fashioned voodoo doll pain. So that's it. Enjoy the ending. Here we go.
Hey! Yeah! Who rules? Me! Vince! Vince rules! Did I forget something?
Yeah, I was about to say, what's up with Charlemagne?
Crap! Charmaine!
Or Charmaine.
Boss! Nice to see you're in one piece.
Yes. Next time, perhaps, you can get me out of the robot before you destroy it!
Next time?
I know, right? There will never be a next
This isn't
time.
over yet, Charmaine!
That's Madame Charmaine, you ignoramus.
I have one last bit of zombie dust. I still possess the power supreme. Behold!
Potty. Precious.
Stop that, silly man. So you're the big wizard. How would you like to see some real magic?
Real magic?
Boss, I think she's kind of mad.
Calmest sister I've ever seen in my life.
She has no powers. The zombie dust is all gone.
It's true. I have no dust. But Vince does. May I borrow some?
Sure thing, boss.
It's about to go down.
I always knew he was an airhead.
What happened? Why do you guys look so funny?
We're balloons.
Vince?
Now this will be fun.
What? How are you?
Now, let's go home.
Sounds good. Say, boss, I'm curious. If you're so powerful, why do we live in that rundown old hovel? Why not conjure up a mansion or a private yacht?
It doesn't work like that. Didn't you learn anything from all this?
I just know that somebody gets their own room while I sleep in a desk.
That's just how things are, Vince.
I'd also like to bring up the potentially touchy subject of my other eye. Granted, I realize this isn't as important to some people as it is to me, but when you get into the area of depth perception, it's just a little bit...
All right, everybody, that was Voodoo Vince. What'd you guys think? I mean, for me, this story is pretty decent. It's just a story about kidnapping a voodoo lady and using her voodoo dust in order to power the weirdest things ever. It's kind of awkward that Cosmo the Inscrutable decided he was going to use all his voodoo dust power to keep Vince the voodoo doll from getting to the voodoo lady. Like, what was his plan after that? Seriously, I mean, think about it. Everything that Vince had to deal with, there were no people, right? I mean, we started out the story with people, and then all of a sudden there's no people. It's just conjurers of voodoo dust and other normal things in the world, like dogs, roaches, frogs, mosquitoes, these things, right? So basically the dude, Cosmo the Inscrutable, used all of his voodoo dust in order to make these things happen. Somehow erected some big ass Cosmo bot with the rest of his voodoo dust, and then once Voodoo Vince took out the bot, there's no more dust left. He tries to use that last little bit, but I mean, where the hell is he gonna find any other dust? He has to knock over Madame Charmaine's shop or whatever in order to get the dust that she has, even though she has it right there out for display. I mean, hopefully next time she puts that stuff in a safe or something. So what? Shoot, she's gonna go back and hook up the rest of her voodoo dolls, have them running through the town like little minions, getting her groceries and stuff. It's very weird. I mean, now that Voodoo Vince is alive, she's gotta, keep him alive. Hopefully she hooks him up with a real second eye, I bet you they'd give him a second eye and then something would happen and he'd have to use the button again. Anyway, the pathways that Vince had to take to get to Madame Charmaine was pretty ridiculous. I mean, I don't think that they should be going in a straight absolute path, but the first couple of stages, they were just like in the streets, in the underground, and then floating back up into a cemetery, and then they just kind of gave up trying to link these places together and just had Madame Charmaine tell Voodoo Vince to just go to specific places. That part of the story was just really, really lame. I think that they could have done a better job hooking up where Vince is going exactly. Other than that, the story was fine. I liked it. What'd you guys think? Do you feel the same way that I do? Is there anything about Voodoo Vince that you can spot that didn't work for you? You know what I mean? Especially as far as the story is concerned. Let me know down in the comments. I'd be happy to hear it. I love discussion about stories and things like that. But anyway, you guys have fun. We'll see you on the next video game plot summaries. Peace.